Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. In the previous episode, we did successfully manage to get Bill to Duna and get him landed on the surface where he could plant a flag, in which he took the opportunity to blame Jebediah for his circumstances. Now, that may or may not be justified. I don't honestly know right in this minute. It's entirely likely, knowing Jeb. Anyway, we're back here at the VAB where last time I started work on this Duna Lander 1, which is a two-man lander, a tuna can thing with a two-man capacity. And so far, we've got something that, if I select Duna here, see, we've easily got enough thrust to delta V to get up off of the surface of Duna and into orbit. Now what we need is a launch vehicle and a transfer stage to get it to Duna. So let's just grab a hold of this, bring it up. Alright, let's see. I'm thinking we might have to dock onto the end of it here, so let's go over here. Clampatron Senior. Finally, we have a full-size 3-meter docking port. I like that. That's good. Alright, let's see, what do we have here? We've got solar panels, we've got batteries, we have ladders, landing legs, all the stuff we need to set this thing down on Duna. Great. Alright. Well, we need to get a launch vehicle made here, so let's start with that. I'm going to put this on here. We're going to need the reaction wheel force because this thing's got like a torque of 20 in all different directions. It uses considerable amount of power, but it works. Okay. And just for safety's sake, let's make sure that this thing is strutted to the decoupler. And to the tank. That way it's at least less likely to come apart in flight. And some more major struttage here. Okay. And I don't know if the overheating thing is still an issue, but I'm going to put down the small tank overheat prevention system that I've been using for a while now. Alright. And let's go ahead and power the central stack with a mainsail. And now friend the TT-70 radial decoupler. No, we don't need that many of them. Just two. Better. Okay. I'm going to put a pair of these on these side stages too, just simply so that there will be just that much more torque available while they're still attached. And I think I'm going to move them down a bit too. Yeah, that's better. All right. Yeah. Just for looks. Okay. And now more struts to hold the sections together. Alright, that looks good. And now strut the whole mess to the central tank. And again down here. Alright, that looks good. I'm going to use the quad adapter again because I think it looks cool. And 4 LTV30s. Okay, so far so good. All right. Okay. Now, copy that. Oh, come on. Very good. It's even the same height. Good. Fix the staging as we go so our asparagus actually works right. And then copy this thing again. Alright, let's get a good look in here, make sure. Oh, what's going on here? It needs to come up a bit. There. That's good. Okay. Now, about those fuel lines. Okay, that looks about as straight as it's going to get. Good. Now we'll just asparagus this thing together. And yes, I can tell they're not quite even, but they are even in their unevenness in that it's pairs. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I have an extra fuel line in here. Don't need that. Alright, now let's see. Pull that down here. So far, so good. No, we don't want these parachutes to go at the same time this does. Okay. Go ahead and save that. Alright, these parachutes will be tripped individually. The idea here is that what I'd like to do is have this central stack arrive in orbit with most of its fuel intact, so that it can also serve as the transfer stage to get this whole thing to Duna. Alright. Yeah, that should take care of that. Well, yeah, that'll do it. So I have an alternative means of getting them back in mind. Although it might be better, come to think of it, if this decoupler was actually a docking port, or perhaps a pair of docking ports. Put this down here. Take that out, throw it away. Clampetron Senior. Have another Clampetron Senior. Oh, wait a minute. Now I'll set them together. Put this onto here. And instead of jettisoning, it will simply undock. Yeah. And let's throw some control surfaces down here. I'm thinking probably just on that one set. Alright. And of course, launch stability enhancers. They went into their own stage? No, I don't think so. All right. Looking good. Grab the whole thing. Bring it down. One last check on the staging. Got all our engines down here. We got our clamps down here. Yeah. Okay, staging looks good. Parachutes, I'm going to put those on an action group. And let's start with the action groups and ready anyhow. Okay, for the engine, custom 10, toggle the gimbal. Alright. Custom 1 is, as always, the solar panels. Okay, it's already set. Good. Alright. Custom 3. Deploy the chutes. Custom 2. Deploy. Oh, toggle the ladders. It's already set. Good. Alright. A little bit more I want to do on here. Like, for example, I have yet to do anything about lights for landing. That'll work for that. They'll work with the normal light command. And let's put a set of them facing forward, because they might be handy when it comes time for docking maneuvers of any kind. And these will point aft for any docking maneuvers happening back there. All right. And just for giggles, I'm going to put a few white nav lights on there and put those on custom 5. Save that. Okay, I do believe we have a valuable, whatever, a useful lander, launch vehicle, and transfer stage all combined into one thing to be launched. Except maybe a little bit more struttage here on the asparagus stages. Just to prevent wobble issues. Alright, I think she's looking good, ready to fly. And so, I will cut to the launch pad and we'll find out. Alright, here we are. Looks like everything is behaving somewhat stable. We'll find out. Let's see, the lights work. That's good. Okay, so let's get this thing into orbit and see what we've got in the way of a chance to get it all the way to Duna. Okay, liftoff is slow, but that's all right. It will accelerate. Nice and steady. I figure we'll go through 2 sets of asparagus staging before we get very far into gravity turns or anything like that. I figure The lander is about a 29-ton ship, and that means a pretty hefty vehicle to get it up into orbit. And the idea here, if that central stack still has a full load of fuel by the time we get into orbit, then it might just serve as a transfer stage to get to Duna. We'll see. Losing our first set of asparagus in just a moment. Still holding straight and true. And first set away. Nice and clean. Going very nicely. Up to about 7 kilometers, and we want to start inching into a gravity turn just a little bit here and there. Just a little bit here. I don't want to get away from the prograde marker very much, not when I'm going to be dropping stages. I don't like that roll. Okay, another set gone. We'll start getting over towards 45 degrees. Looking good. Nice and easy. All right. Looks like we have a good ship here. Ease over just a little bit more. Cancel that blasted roll. Looking for an apoapsis about 100 kilometers or so. This thing does have a tendency to want to roll. First one direction, then the other. It takes a lot of constant twitching on the controls to keep it in any kind of a reasonable alignment. Final asparagus gone. Whoa. 112 apoapsis. Okay, I wasn't paying attention and I should have been. But we've got plenty of time here. Add a maneuver at apoapsis. Okay, 109 by 120. That looks good to me. Get lined up. Get ourselves into a parking orbit. Okay, burn in 44 seconds in 1 minute and 54, so we'll burn at T-minus 22. Stopping short to fix alignment with the maneuver node because SAS doesn't hold that anymore. Not like it used to. Camera mode to free, so that maybe it won't go flipping around on me. I just thought of that. A little bit late on the burn. Hopefully that won't be an issue. Looking good. Close enough, 124 by 104. Not exactly circular, but it's an orbit. Okay. This thing would stay closed when I want it closed. Alright. Alright, the ship is in position. It has quite a bit of delta V. Quite a bit of fuel. About 4 minutes worth of burn. But one thing I hadn't thought of, that mainsail is going to suck that fuel down like crazy. It certainly is. I don't know, this thing might manage to get a Duna encounter. Let's have a look here. Let's get Duna set as a target and do a little bit of preliminary course plotting. Alright, we're going to need to burn somewhere probably about here. Alright. Okay, for 1100 meters a second we get to this. back some of that off. No, that's not working. Might just be an idea to do like last time. Burn this. Or maybe something like that. And then get out here and make a correction burn to bring this into an encounter over here somewhere. 1,030 meters a second. We've got 3,768 meters per second in delta V. So that ought to do that. So let's give it a shot. Burning in 21 minutes for a period of 1 minute. Okay. Let's get lined up. Let's deploy the solar panels too while I'm thinking about it. It wouldn't do to run out of power. Let's close that. Use a little bit of RCS to you know what? I'm not seeing any RCS reactions going on here at all. Oh, for crying out loud, this thing doesn't have any RCS jets. No RCS ports. Ugh. I can't believe I did that. Well, we seem to be able to control it without them, so let's do that. Alright, time warping ahead to Trans-Duna injection. Okay, we seem to have held our maneuver note this time. Go ahead and warp down to 30 seconds and burn this thing. All right. There we go. We're on the way. Mainsails are brutal on the fuel, but I'll tell you one thing. You get a lot of delta V out of them quickly. Okay. Looking good. Throttling back. Trying to follow that maneuver node. Cut. Alright. Let's see how we did. We have curb and escape in 1 day, 23 minutes. We have a Duna close approach of 17 million kilometers. Of course, we knew that. I knew that was going to happen. Well, we get out to about here, set up another maneuver, and kind of like with the last mission, only without missing our burn time for a whole year. Okay, I'm going to set up a maneuver about there. And just put something on it so I can schedule it. Give it a 20-minute lead time for figuring out the course, and that will do that. And part of the problem with the maneuver, with the course to Duna is, of course, as you can see, we're still way out of position. We are much more than 45 degrees behind Duna. Duna's here, Kerbin is here. We're way farther than 45 degrees behind. But as time progresses, we'll get closer to Duna and get closer to that 45 degree angle that is considered pretty much about ideal for the launch window. In the meantime, there's another ship that needs to be launched, because this thing is going to need fuel once it gets there. So we'll be dealing with that and other issues in the next exciting episode. Be sure to tune in. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.